Hello everyone, a very good morning to all of you and welcome back to SSB Crack Exams. I am Hemant and I'm back here again with another interesting current affairs session that is being provided by SSB Crack Exams. Since the last few days we have not provided any particular details regarding the current affairs. So in this particular session I will be wrapping up with the complete current affairs starting from 29th of December 2020 all the way up towards the 7th of January 2021, that is today. So I will be discussing with you about some of the most important updates and issues that have been happening since all of these 7 or 8 days or whichever the complete marathon is regarding this particular one. So it is a very long session. It is going to be very lengthy one. So you can take breaks in between and you can note down, taking down some of important notes whenever you want to, and then you can get back with the complete session. And please make sure that you complete the full session and you hear out whatever each and every particular thing, and you will also take time in going through the final questions regarding the review questions and all. So please make sure that the session is very important for you and you are covering up all of these important things as per the time schedule that you have. Okay. So before starting, as I always introduced you that SSB Crack Exams is India's largest, most preferred online defense exams preparation portal. If in case you're preparing for the upcoming defense examinations like NDA, CDS, AFCAT, INET, Territorial Army, Indian Air Force, Airman Group X, Group Y, Central Armed Police Forces, Assistant Commandant's examination, also for the entrance exams of the Army Cadet College or Military Nursing Service, you can please go through our app and download the app from Google Play Store, and you can also go through the website learn.ssbcrackexams.com, whichever is suitable for you. Go through the complete important app or application, and then you can subscribe yourself to your most favorite course, wherein which we are providing the complete detailed lecture content, study material, sample practice questions, quizzes, exercises, mock tests that are all made taking into consideration the latest exam patterns. You can even follow us on all sort of social media platforms and keep yourself updated with the most important Indian and international inputs regarding all of the other details and examination related notifications. Beginning with the question of the day that I have asked long back on 28th of December 2020, and people have been waiting for the answer regarding that, and most of you have already given the answer in the comment section. I am very happy that most of you are participating in the comment section. It's very nice. And those who are actually watching and are not commenting, please do comment and make sure that you are also a part of that fabulous team. Starting off with the question, that I asked was, Sputnik is the first artificial Earth satellite launched by which country? Okay, I repeat it. Sputnik is the first artificial Earth satellite launched by which country? And the options that I gave is USA, India, Russia and Japan. And the correct answer for this particular one is option C, Russia. Okay, Sputnik is from Russia. Regarding Sputnik, it is actually the Sputnik 1. It is Earth's first artificial satellite, sir. Okay, Russia was the first country to send an artificial satellite. So that is the Earth's first artificial satellite. It is named as Sputnik 1. Actually, the name of Sputnik, it actually means traveling companion in Russian. Okay, so it was launched by the Soviet Union at that time, and it is the world's first artificial satellite and also the first human-made satellite ever. Okay, it was in a form of sphere, as you can see in this particular picture. It is around 23 inches in diameter and was pressured with nitrogen. Okay, so this is a very important one regarding the first Earth's artificial satellite, that is Sputnik 1. Okay, starting off with the first and foremost important information and update regarding starting off directly from 29th of December up to 7th of January. So a lot of things happen in between. So this is the first update that I want to share. This is regarding the giant rock bee honey, sir. It has been added to the Tribes of India collection. Okay, first I will tell you what is actually the giant rock bee honey and details regarding that, and then I will discuss with you about what is actually the Tribes India collection. When going through with this particular bee, actually the scientific name of this bee is Apis dorsata. Okay, Apis dorsata is the giant honeybee. It is a honeybee in the South and Southeast Asia, and it also grows in the most of the areas of Nepal and also in some of the areas of Tamil Nadu. So this is regarding the Tamil Nadu related areas where this honey is found. So they are typically around 17 to 20 millimeters long, which is very long actually. Okay, so the nests are mainly built in exposed places far off the ground, like on tree limbs, under cliff overhangs, and sometimes on buildings. The giant rock bee honey, it is a unique variant of honey. It is sourced from the Malayali tribes of Tamil Nadu. Okay, so it is sourced from the Malayali tribes of Tamil Nadu. Going through detail, what is actually the Tribes India, sir? This is how the Tribes India trademark looks. Okay, so it is a brand under which the sourced handicraft products from the tribal people are sold. Okay, if any particular collection has been tagged with this particular Tribes India collection, then that means that they are an indigenous tribes of our country, and they have been identified by the tribal affairs minister or ministry of our country, and they are being provided the proper protection regarding that. So there are actually until now 120 tribes India outlets across the country, making it a sustainable and reliable brand. Okay, going through regarding an extra update is regarding from our home to your home. It is actually a campaign. It has been launched by the TriFed. Okay, so TriFed is a very important undertaking of the central government. So it has been launched 8 weeks back by the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in order to source as many effective, natural, attractive products from diverse indigenous tribes across the country, so that these can reach a wide variety of audience. Okay, so the tribes of our country are actually an indomitable asset of our country, and it is because of them that still most of the important culture and language things are still flourishing, and the culture of our country and the beauty of our country still exists in them. Okay, so that is regarding this giant rock bee honey. Going to detail a little bit regarding various other products that were included in this Tribes India collection. So the from the Tamil Nadu, they included this particular one. So they are the organic fresh produce from the Malayali tribes. They included such rock bee honey, then variants of millet, rice, tamarind and pepper. Okay, so going through the next most important update for us is regarding that Virat Kohli has won the ICC Male Cricketer of Decade award, and MS Dhoni has been awarded with the Spirit of the Cricket award. So two awards were actually backed by Virat Kohli. So ICC OD Men's Cricketer of the Decade and ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade, two awards were actually given to Virat Kohli by ICC, and Mahendra Singh Dhoni has won ICC Spirit of Cricket award for the decade. Okay, so having hit more than 20,000 runs in the qualification period, Virat Kohli has also won the Sir Garfield Sobers ICC Male Cricketer of the Decade award for his prolific record in 50 over formats. Going through now with the next most important update is regarding that United States President has signed the Tibetan Policy and Support Act. Okay, so this is a very important update regarding the United States and China relations, because both of these countries are at a very hostile and tie-up situation. So US Congress has actually approved this omnibus spending bill. What is actually an omnibus spending bill? According to the United States Constitution or the Judicial Affairs, an omnibus spending bill is that sort of bill that will it will combine multiple bills. Okay, so it will combine multiple bills into one single common bill, and that is known as an omnibus spending bill. Okay, so there will be little bit short bills regarding the Tibetan policy towards from the United States of America. So all of those bills are actually combined together, and that particular one single consolidated bill with little bit amendments or changes if they have to do, so that complete bill is actually termed as an omnibus spending bill, sir. Okay, so this is an omnibus spending bill regarding the Tibetan policy and support towards the Tibet, and they have identified Tibet as a country, a separate country which is still under the hands of China. It must get its independence back from China. Okay, so United States Congress has said that it is going to spend as much amount of money to secure the Tibetan issues and Tibetan national interests away from the Chinese who are actually claiming to be Tibet as a part of a territory of China. Okay, so this legislation actually sends a powerful message of hope and justice to the Tibetans inside Tibet, and bolsters United States support for the protection of Tibetan people's religious freedom, human rights, environmental rights, and exiled Tibetan democracy like never. The bill calls upon Secretary of State to not authorize any new Chinese consulate in the United States. Okay, so the United States Secretary of State has its own powers. He has his own powers. So Secretary of State is that particular one single authority that can tell whether any particular country's consulate be established in the territory of United States or not. So this particular bill, it clearly mentions that Secretary of State to not authorize any new Chinese consulate in US. Okay, it is very clear indication that United States is not at all interested, since China is still copying the United States defense policies and products. Okay, going through with the next most important update is regarding that international blue flag has been hoisted at 8 beaches across the country. Okay, so this is that particular flag. This is how that international blue flag looks. If any particular beach has been planted, or it has been hoisted with this particular flag, it clearly indicates that that particular beach is said to be one of the most prestigious and clean beaches, and that particular country is very very intended, and the people are very protective about that beach and its environmental interests. So actually these particular blue flag hoisting at 8 different beaches, I will tell you what are those 8 beaches in the next update. So here I'm going to tell you that who's actually done all of these. So who hosted these? So he was Shri Prakash Javadekar ji. So he's the Minister of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, and he has actually virtually hoisted these things. So actually what is actually blue flag certification, sir? It is a globally recognized eco label accorded by the Foundation for Environment Education in Denmark. Who will give this particular blue flag, sir? It will be given by the Foundation for Environmental Education in Denmark. So this particular foundation, it has 33 stringent criteria to give this particular blue flag all across the world to any particular beach, and these particular 33 stringent criteria were actually met by these 8 beaches. So India started its journey by launching its beach cleaning campaign, I Am Saving My Beach. Okay, what is that particular campaign? I Am Saving My Beach. So this is the campaign that is launched by the Environmental Ministry. So 100 more such beaches will be made blue flag in the coming 3 to 4 years, sir. What are these 8 beaches, sir? Please remember these 8 beaches which will be very very important for you. So these 8 beaches include Kappad Beach in Kerala, Shivrajpur Beach in Gujarat, Ghogla Beach in Diu, Kasargod of Karnataka, Pabudibri in Karnataka, Rushikonda Beach in Andhra Pradesh, Golden Beach in Odisha, and Radhanagar Beach in Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Okay, so these are those beaches. So this is a Golden Beach in Odisha, this is Rushikonda Beach in Andhra Pradesh, and this is Kappad Beach in Kerala, this is Shivrajpur Beach in Gujarat. You can even check out the pictures of the other beaches also. You can go there and spend your time, but since this is kind of a COVID-19 situation, so make sure that wherever you're going, you're following the complete norms. And I personally recommend that those defense aspirants who have their SSB interviews in the near future, please refrain from going here and there and prepare for the upcoming interviews and examinations. Okay, going through now with the next most important update is regarding that India's first pollinator park has been inaugurated in Haldwani. Okay, Haldwani is where, sir? It is in Uttarakhand. So it is the first pollinator park which is over 40 species of butterflies, honeybees, birds and insects. They have been developed under over 4 acres at Nainital's Haldwani in Uttarakhand. So pollinator park, it has its main objective, and the main objective behind developing the park is to conserve various pollinator species. Okay, pollination is that sort of important formation, important biological process wherein which the plants will be protected and their next species will be able to flourish. So this is to conserve the various pollinator species and to create awareness among the people in general about the importance of the conservation of these species. Okay, it is very important that wildlife conservation should be a very very important part in any particular country, no matter what stage of economy it is. Going through with the next most important update is regarding that Google Pay will now offer FASTag in partnership with ICICI Bank. So Google Pay users now can recharge their FASTag. Okay, please remember, Google Pay users can recharge their FASTag on the app. Okay, but the purchasing of FASTag is not at all there in Google Pay. You have to purchase the FASTag as per the government guidelines and procedures, but the recharging of the FASTag can be done by Google Pay. Okay, directly from the Google app, you have to do it. But purchasing one directly from the Google app, it is not possible currently. ICICI Bank is the first bank to join the hands with Google Pay for the issuance of FASTag. Okay, so some particular blank is to be included to be a part of issuance of the FASTag. So ICICI Bank will give the into the partnership with the Google Pay to provide the FASTag updates and to provide the FASTag recharges to the people. So this collaboration will help the Google Pay users to apply for the new FASTag and get it delivered free of cost at their doorstep. Going through now with the next most important update is about Tihan, which is a kind of very very important hub which has been inaugurated at IIT Hyderabad, and it is going to have its India's first test bed for autonomous navigation system, sir. Okay, so the Department of Science and Technology DST under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems NMICPS, which is working under the Government of India, it has sanctioned this prestigious technology innovation hub to IIT Hyderabad. What is this Tihan, sir? Tihan has its full form as Technology Innovation Hub on Autonomous Navigation and Data Acquisition Systems. I repeat, Technology Innovation Hub on Autonomous Navigation and Data Acquisition System. This is known as Tihan, and this is a hub which is actually inaugurated on a virtual mode at IIT Hyderabad by Prakash Javadekar ji. So this is India's first test bed for autonomous navigation system. So what kind of, it is very, very important hub. So in the whole country, this is the first kind of hub which has been created at IIT Hyderabad, which clearly it only works regarding autonomous navigation systems, sir. Okay, be it terrestrial or aerial navigation system. Going through Union Minister of Education, Shri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank has actually laid the foundation stone of this, and Government of India has sanctioned over 135 crores to IIT Hyderabad under this NMICPS. Going through detail, a very bit in a short understanding regarding the primary objectives of this particular Tihan at IIT Hyderabad. What they will do is they will kind of work on real-time autonomous navigation and data acquisition system. They might be unmanned aerial vehicles or rotary vehicles or operating vehicles, whatever. And then they will create the standard operating procedures for these, and then they will do a very thorough quality data acquisition system for aerial, terrestrial, mobile environments under multi-sensory perception scenarios. And once they have been working on the multi-sensory perception scenarios, they will divide that particular thing in different fields which will be used in different fields, which include autonomous transportation system, or they can be used in agriculture in our country, or they can also be used in infrastructure, surveillance and environmental related issues. Okay, so this is considered to be a very, very prestigious hub, Tihan at IIT Hyderabad. Going through with the next update is regarding SBI is now introducing the positive pay system, sir. So this is a system that is actually proposed by Reserve Bank of India to actually completely format and completely have a stop to all the fraudsters regarding the check related payments. So in a bid to check the banking fraud, so the Reserve Bank of India decided to introduce the positive pay system for check, under which what happens is reconfirmation of key details may be needed for payments beyond 50,000 rupees. Okay, so any particular check which is going to be addressed more than 50,000 rupees, for that particular check it has to be and some additional details will be asked, and both receivers and the payers and the payees account details and all will be thoroughly checked, and only then the check will be issued and properly will be done and the transfer will be made successful. Okay, so National Payments Corporation of India, NPCI, it will actually develop this facility of positive pay in CTS and make it available to the participant banks. So here RBI has actually said to introduce all of these things to the partner banks, and SBI is the first bank to have been introducing this positive pay system. Okay, going through detail, going through with the next most important update is South Korea's artificial sun has broke the world record. What is actually this artificial sun, sir? It is known as K-Star, sir. Okay, K-Star is known to be that particular facility, a technological facility in South Korea. What is it, K-Star, sir? K-Star is actually a superconducting fusion device. Okay, it is a superconducting fusion device. You can see how this particular device is a very, very huge device, and it uses magnetic fields to produce stabilized super hot plasma with the end goal of making nuclear fusion power a reality. Okay, so what are they doing is they are trying to create a process of nuclear fusion in this super hot plasma, and the energy that is going to come out from this particular fusion process, what they will do, they will utilize that particular energy into different particular purposes, let it be electricity or heating or in any particular scientific purposes, whichever thing it is going to be possible. Okay, now since nuclear fusion is a kind of process that continuously happens, that is the reason why it is called as a limitless source of clean energy that could revamp the way we power our lives, given we can get it to be work as intended. Okay, so what it has done actually, sir, so it is able to achieve a temperature of over 6.6 times more than that of suns. Okay, mention in the comment section what is the temperature of sun. So this particular important K-Star facility at South Korea, it was able to achieve 6.6 times more than the sun's temperature, and it has actually achieved this particular temperature long back in 2018 also, but at that time it was only for 1.5 seconds. Now it has achieved around 2 seconds of this particular very, very high temperature. No one has been able to sustain a plasma nearly as hot as this for a long period of time. Going to detail the case, sir, it has been placed. Where is it actually, sir? This is how it looks. So where is it actually? It is actually placed at the Korean Institute of Fusion Energy, KFF, and it is a joint research project which is actually being done under the Seoul National University and Columbia University of United States, which achieved this particular milestone on November of 24th in 2020. KFE is actually, according to the report, it aims to achieve the fusion ignition for 300 seconds at a time by 2025, and the institute achieved its first fusion in long back 2008. Going through with the next most important update is regarding that the E-Committee of Supreme Court has been awarded the Platinum Award for Excellence in Digital Governance by the President of India. So E-Codes project, okay, E-Codes, actually this particular project, it has been visioned and implemented by the Electronical Committee of the Supreme Court, okay. So these are regarding the Digital India Awards 2020. So Supreme Court of India along with the Department of Justice and NIC is a mission mode project of the government of India. So this is a very, very important Digital India Awards and making our country more digital as possible. So this is regarding that particular one. Going through what is actually the committee that works under this particular E-Codes, sir. E-Codes is a very, very important thing that is a part of our country, and making our country electronically and judicially secure in electronical mode is something that clearly indicates our progress in our country. So this particular committee, it consists of patron in chief as Mr. Justice Sharad Arvind Bobde, the Chief Justice of India, the current CJI, and the chairperson of the E-Codes is Dr. Justice Dhananjaya Y. Chandrachud, who is the Supreme Court judge. The vice chairperson is Mr. Justice R.C. Chavan, who is the former judge of the Bombay High Court, and 4 other members are also a part of the E-Court of our country. Going through with the next most important update is regarding Indian satellite SDSat is going to carry the names of the common people in space, sir. Okay, what is it actually, sir? SDSat. SDSat is actually known as the Satish Dhawan satellite. Full form is Satish Dhawan satellite. So it is going to carry the names of the common people. But why should it carry the names of the common people, sir? This is actually to create awareness, generate curiosity, and get more people fascinated about space science. Okay, in a times where very less people are actually intended in learning about the space science, this is the first time that a common people's name are going to be on the SDSat. So this clearly indicates that most of the people are going to be get interested in all of these. So SDSat is actually a 3U cube satellite. It is named after the former chairman and one of the founding fathers of Indian space program, Professor Satish Dhawan. So it is being launched by the PSLV C-51 rocket or launch vehicle. Okay, that's it regarding this particular update. Now going through with the next most important update is regarding that IFSCA becomes a member of IOSCO. What is IFSCA, sir? IFSCA is International Financial Services Centers Authority. Now, if the name is international, it doesn't mean that it is clearly international. This IFSCA is a part of our country. It is a part of India only. Okay, it is an Indian authority, but its name is International Financial Services Centers Authority. So this is going to become, it has become a member of IOSCO. What is IOSCO, sir? IOSCO means International Organization of Securities Commission. This is something which is international. Okay, so this is international. So IOSCO is an international organization. So any particular organization that is coming under this particular pun, we have to understand that any particular financial security organization coming under IOSCO is coming to be a very, very advantageous one, because it is an international organization that brings together the world security regulators or financial regulators, whatever we have to say. So what is actually, sir, why is this particular membership of our India's IFSCA becoming a member of IOSCO very, very important? So this particular membership of IFSCA into IOSCO, it becomes a platform. It provides the platform to exchange information at global level and regional level on areas of the common interest. So IOSCO platform would enable IFSCA to learn from the experiences that have been faced by the international organization and take up steps. Now we have got about what is actually the financial regulators. I told you what is actually the securities regulators or financial regulators. There are 6 most important financial regulators in our country, which includes SEBI, which is Securities and Exchange Board of India. Then comes the Reserve Bank of India, Ministry of Finance, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority of India. Then comes the Pension Fund Regulatory and Development Authority, PFRDA. these six are only considered to be the financial regulators in our country. So those people who are preparing for the upcoming CDS or NDA examination or any other examination, remember that there are six financial regulators in our country. And if in case you kind of find out various other financial regulators, please feel free to dump them in the comment section so that other people will get to know about what all the other details. As far as my knowledge is concerned, there are six financial regulators. So please do mention in the comment section what do you have to say. Going through with the next most important update is Prime Minister has laid the foundation stone for the permanent campus of Indian Institute of Management at Sambalpur. Okay, Sambalpur is in Odisha, so IIM Sambalpur will not only showcase the culture and the resources of Odisha but will also give it a global recognition in the field of management. Establishment of IIM at any particular place clearly indicates about creating very resourceful personnel and making our country and providing our country very important corporates and graduates that are very good experts in the field of management and risk related procedures. So Prime Minister has asked the students to align their career. In his speech, he has told them to aspire for our country and to work for the progress of our country. And he has also dwelt at length on the students' role in making the local rise up to the global level. Going through with the next update is regarding the Swasth Vayu non-invasive ventilator has been developed by the CSIR NAL and it receives the regulator nod. Okay, CSIR NAL is actually very important one. NAL is coming under the National Aeronautics Limited, so it is actually Swasth Vayu non-invasive ventilator. This is actually a microcontroller based precise closed loop adaptive control system. Okay, with a built-in biocompatible 3D printed manifold and coupler with HEPA or HEPA filter. HEPA means highly efficient particulate air filter. Okay, so these are all technical terms, so those who want to remember, you can remember, or else you can happily ignore it because it is not very important. But the main thing that you need to remember is it is actually a microcontroller based one. It has a built-in biocompatible 3D printed manifold coupler and it also has HEPA filter. So these all unique features will help to alleviate the fear of the virus spread. Simply all of these, why do they do it? Because we have to completely stop the spreading of the corona or COVID virus. So this is a ventilator and it is known as what? Swasth Vayu non-invasive ventilator. So it has been developed by CSIR NAL. It has commercialized this technology with 6 other private companies, and one of these companies, which is in MSME category, has already set up the production facilities to around 300 units per week. Okay, so it is going to produce 300 units per week. You can see how this particular Swasth Vayu bi-level positive airway pressure ventilator looks. Okay, going through with the next most important update is regarding on 4th of January in all the full world has celebrated the World Braille Day. Braille is that particular script that is being used by all over the world by the blind people, and it is providing them a platform and creating awareness to all the other important people around the country that even blind people can become geniuses in their own fields. So this day is celebrated to create awareness of the importance of Braille as a means of communication in realization of human rights for the blind. Okay, even blind people can study, even they have their own rights, even they can become masters in whatever they are doing, and even they can also communicate with the other people. So this is a kind of language that is used. This is the Braille script. So this is a representation of alphabetic and numerical symbols using 6 dots. Okay, so in Braille they will be using 6 dots, and like for example, if you want to indicate the letter A, then you will only use the first dot. If you want to indicate letter B, this will be the B, and if you want to indicate C, then this will be C. You can see how they are actually using these. So these particular representations, they will be only doing in these 6 important dots only. And these dots, they not only represent these letters, but they also represent numbers, mathematical, musical and scientific symbols also as well. Okay, so it is actually celebrated, the World Braille Day celebrated on January of 4th. Okay, what is January of 4th, sir? It is actually the birth anniversary of Louis Braille, who is actually the creator of this writing system. So he was born in France in 1809 and he was the creator of this particular writing system. Okay, going through with the next most important update is regarding the 40th Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. So this is being launched by the Ministry of Earth Sciences under the government of India, and ice class vessel MV Vasily Golovin. Remember, MV Vasily Golovin has been deployed to this particular Indian scientific expedition to Antarctica. It is the 40th scientific expedition, and it will take a team of 40 members to Antarctica, and they will return by April 2021. Okay, so Excel Indian Antarctica. So expedition has been limited due to the existing challenges of the COVID-19. Going through the next update is now regarding the world's largest floating solar energy project is going to be taken up in India, and this particular floating solar energy project is going to be constructed at Omkareshwar Dam on Narmada River. Okay, it is going to be constructed at Omkareshwar Dam on Narmada River, and this project will begin its power generation by next year 2022 to 2023, and it is going to be having the floating solar panels. You can see how they are actually. So this is actually a floating solar panel, a representative picture. This is actually the picture of the Omkareshwar Dam. So what they will do is they will create all of these solar panels that they will float on this particular river's waters, and they will generate around 600 megawatts of power generation capacity, and electricity is going to be generated in about 2000 hectares of water area by installing solar panels in the dam. Okay, so they are not going to be affected by any sort of dams ups and downs or waters ups and downs. They will be always be installed in the water, and they will always float on the water surface, and they are going to provide proper electricity to most of the people. Okay, having floating solar energy project is one other kind of way in providing the power to various other regions, and in providing the power that can be utilized in various other resources and various other projects that will be very, very important in our country's name and fame. Going through with the next update is regarding that Prime Minister Modi has inaugurated the National Atomic Scale at the National Meteorology Conclave. What is this actually National Atomic Scale, sir? Actually, you need to understand that atomic time is that particular concept. Okay, who actually designed that 1 second should be that long, sir? Okay, so if you have to go through in detail, long back, the International System of Units has defined 1 second as the time taken by cesium-133 atom in the ground state to oscillate around you can see 9192631770. It could be again say that 9192 million 631,778 times oscillations of the cesium-133 atom. Okay, so if the cesium-133 atom is oscillating these many times, so for that particular time taken by this particular atoms or to oscillate those many times, so that particular time is taken as 1 second. Okay, so that time is known as 1 second. So this kind of measuring is known as atomic time. So it is a very, very, very precise time. Okay, atomic time provides exact speed at which the clock ticks. Also, in technical words, we need to understand that it measures the actual length of 1 second. And if you want to go through, remember the sentence: atomic clocks deviate only 1 second in up to 100 million years. Okay, that means all the way up to 100 million years. After 100 million years, they will have an error of only 1 second. You can imagine how accurate and precise they are. So in simpler words, atomic clocks count 1 second after cesium-133 atom has oscillated these many times. So we have had this National Meteorology Conclave, sir. So it was actually in this particular National Meteorology Conclave, our Prime Minister has actually inaugurated the new time scale which will be working on the atomic clocks. Okay, so this is known as the National Atomic Scale. It was inaugurated by National Atomic Time, inaugurated by the Prime Minister Modi. Since our country has already become self-reliant in measuring time within the range of nanosecond. So it has now achieved the accuracy level of 2.8 nanosecond, matching the international standard time. Going through with the next update is regarding the Global Economic Prospects Report 2020 has been released by the World Bank Group. So according to this particular report, Indian economy is going to contract by 9.6% in 2020 to 21, and our economy is going to recover 5.4% in 2021 to 22. The contraction in Indian economy will be mainly due to the sharp decline in household spending and private investment, and lot of the other banks are also involved in this particular economic investments. So world economy is going to be expanding by 4% on the other hand in the 2021, and the services and manufacturing sector are now gaining momentum after a long period of time since the COVID-19 pandemic is going on. So these are very simple things regarding Global Economic Prospects Report, and any other most important things are not at all important. So these 5 important points are important. You can remember these 5 things. Going through with the next most important update is regarding that United States Congress has passed another important resolution, and that is regarding Malala Yousafzai Scholarship Act. Who is Malala Yousafzai, sir? Malala Yousafzai is that Pakistani woman, female citizen. She has been awarded Nobel Prize with Indian citizen Kailash Satyarthi regarding their protection of rights and education for the children and women respectively. So the bill actually of the United States Congress, it requires the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, to award at least 50% of scholarships under a Pakistan-based higher education scholarship program to Pakistani women only from 2020 to 2022 across a range of academic disciplines and in accordance with existing eligibility criteria. That means what, sir? Actually, what happened when Malala Yousafzai was happened? After the world has heard about Malala Yousafzai and the problems that she faced regarding the education in Pakistan, and she was also shot by a Pakistani Taliban while she was going back home at some sort of time. So after listening to the hard struggles that women are facing in Pakistan regarding their education and all, the United States Congress has approved, and it has been giving some scholarship to the Pakistani women to study in United States soil. Okay, so United States Aid or US Agency for International Development, so it has awarded, it is going to be expanding this particular Malala Yousafzai Scholarship Act, wherein which Pakistani women will be given scholarship and will be given higher education program, so across a range of academic disciplines and in accordance with the existing eligibility criteria. Only existing eligible women will be given to this particular one, and this bill will also require US aid to consult with and leverage investments by Pakistani private sector and diaspora in US to improve the access to education programs in Pakistan. Okay, so that is it regarding the most important updates that I want to discuss all of these things. So these are 20 most important updates that I'm going to cover since all of these days. I hope that this short and very crisp session is very helpful for you, and in the upcoming sessions I will be discussing many other most important updates regarding these things. So let us all have a very quick review by going through some of the most important questions regarding all of these updates that we have discussed now. And the first and foremost question is, from which state giant rock bee honey, a unique variant of honey, is sourced? Is it option A, Tamil Nadu, or Sikkim, or Gujarat, or Goa? The correct answer is option A, Tamil Nadu. Okay, they are actually sourced from the Malayali tribes of Tamil Nadu. Going through with the next update is, who has won ICC Male Cricketer of Decade award? It has been awarded to option B, Virat Kohli ji. Going through with the next question is, India has launched which campaign for its beach claiming? Is it option A, My Beach, My Water, or option B, India's beaches, live source for exotics, or option C, I am saving my beach, or option D, we must save our beaches? The correct answer is option C, I am saving my beach. Going through with the next question is, India's first pollinator park has been inaugurated in which state? Option A, Uttarakhand, option B, Sikkim, option C, Gujarat, and option D, Goa. The correct answer is option A, Uttarakhand. Going through with the next question is, which bank has collaborated with Google Pay to offer FASTag recharging services? Is it option A, HDFC Bank, or option B, ICICI Bank, or option C, SBI, or option D, Yes Bank? The correct answer is option B, ICICI Bank. Going through with the next question is, India's first test bed for autonomous navigation system is going to be set up in what place? Is it Mumbai, or Bangalore, or Kolkata, or Hyderabad? So it is going to be set up in IIT Hyderabad, and that particular hub is known as Tihan, which is a very important hub which will be working on the autonomous navigation systems. Going through with the next important question is, which bank has introduced its positive pay system to make check payment secure? The correct answer for this particular one is option T, the State Bank of India. Okay, RBI has actually devised this particular policy known as the positive pay system, but State Bank of India is the first bank to be introducing this positive pay system into its banking resources to make their own check payment more secure. Okay, so this is regarding only the check payments, sir. Okay, not the liquidity or cash or any other ones, only the check payment related details. Only in that this positive pay system is going to work. Going through the next question is, which among these has become a member of International Organization of Securities Commissions, IOSCO, recently? So is it option A, Industrial Development Bank of India, or International Financial Services Centers Authority, or World Trade Organization, or TCL Technology? The correct answer for this particular one is option B, International Financial Services Centers Authority, which is a part of the Ministry of Finance of our country. Going through the next question is, according to the report, in the Indian economy is going to be contracted by how much percent in 2020 to 21? So what is this particular report, sir? It is the Global Economic Prospects report by the World Bank, and the correct answer for this particular one is option A, 9.6%. Going through with the next question is, the Prime Minister inaugurated the National Atomic Scale at which particular national conclave? And that particular conclave is option A, National Meteorology Conclave. Remember, it is National Meteorology Conclave. Going through with the next question is, world's largest floating solar energy project in India is going to be constructed on Omkareshwar Dam. So this particular dam is located on which river? It is located on the river of Narmada. Mention in the comment section in which particular state is this Omkareshwar Dam is located. Okay, so that is it regarding all of this question. Now we will have the question of the day, and the question of the day for today is, how many countries are there in European Union? Okay, I repeat, how many countries are there in European Union and what are they? Option A, 25, option B, 27, option C, 39, and option D, 34. The answer for this and the explanation for it I will be giving you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned. This is Big Crack Exams. Subscribe to our channel. Download the Android app from Google Play Store. Always stay safe, stay healthy, keep eating healthy food. Always make sure that your preparation for the examination is going very well and good. Make sure that you always stay tuned with us. Be happy, be confident. Jai Hind.